We're live right now. Oh, well, good. Well, there we are. Hello, everybody. Okay, so everybody's hopping over from Facebook probably, but as we're going live right now, Ryan, are we okay? Are we okay to do this show? Are you all right?
Got to see Grumpy Ryan today.
You're a little bit grumpy. I'm not sure what's going on. Do you need more coffee, beer? We went later today because I know you don't like to go early.
No, we went later today because I am starting to think there's a conspiracy around this office that we're no longer hooking up our printers.
Okay.
It's digital trends, and printers are pretty analog. So, or maybe it may be an environmental.
You're still being grumpy. Just
it may be an environmental initiative.
Okay, all right. Maybe you should just chug that beer, and I think we'll be okay.
All right.
Hello, everyone tuning in. This is Between the Streams, our weekly show where we talk about entertainment, what's coming up in movies, television, all of it, and we want
broken printers,
fairly hot topic here on the show. We'll try to get away from the broken printers, but if you have comments on that, you can go on to We're broadcasting live on YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, you can always send us an email afterward. But feel free to hop in here and let us know what you think about some of the topics we're going to get to. We're going to be talking about the new Star Trek series that's coming out. There's some good and bad with it. We've got our highlight of the week, which is the thing we think you need to know about. We've got a whole bunch of rebooted shows that are now coming back out. It seems like to be also the hot thing is to reboot everything that already happened.
Easier than making your own idea.
Right. And then let's go to our first topic here, which is James Bond. So the James Bond series, of course, Daniel Craig has been helming it the last
4 movies.
4 movies? Has it been 4 movies?
4 movies.
Damn.
Starting with Quantum of Solace, I believe.
Okay.
No, Casino Royale.
Casino Royale was the first one?
That was it.
So 4 movies with Daniel Craig, and he has come out and made
multiple
guy. Statements.
He's grumpier than I was.
He's as grumpy as Ryan, and saying, although I don't think you would turn down 68 million pounds.
No, not at all. But he said, I would rather slash my wrists than play James Bond again, and that was during the promo stuff for the movie. The guy doesn't have a filter.
No.
And now it's been confirmed he's not going to be James Bond, which has set off a fire on the internet.
I don't know how you market it after that.
Yeah. Well, he was like, then later he was like, maybe it's a lot of money. And now he's just like, no, I'm good. They offered him $100 million, 68 million pounds for 2 movies.
Damn.
He said no.
Who could turn that down no matter what?
Yeah. It's a money printing machine. They just wanted him to stick around, I guess. But now.
For $50 million, I'll start.
You'll do it?
I'll start in 10 movies. 10 movies. 10 movie deal right now.
I think that's a great deal.
Okay, well, we'll throw that out there. See
they
if
get
it
the nib.
Besides me, though, I think there's probably some more candidates to be James Bond.
There are.
And that's the big question is who it is. And speculation's been going for a while about Idris Elba.
There has been some and interestingly enough, though, it really hasn't been speculation from the studio. It's just sort of been this internet tidal wave of, let's have Idris Elba, let's have a black James Bond has been part of it. Some people are very upset about that. Some people are very excited about that.
Yeah.
But now it's looking like another name has emerged, partly because of an AMC series that came over from the BBC called The Night Manager.
Okay.
And that is Mr. Tom Hiddleston himself,
a.k.a. Loki.
Your favorite superhero villain.
He is. Went us in for Halloween. Loki, yeah. So Tom Hiddleston, he's been in quite a few movies. He was just in that most recent one where he played, and I'm blanking on his name, of course, Hank Williams.
Yeah.
Played Hank Williams
and learned to play guitar and had to learn how to sing for that, just like they do these days.
Right.
They have to become the person.
They have to do all of that. And
just because of Ray. Ray changed the game.
Yeah,
Jamie
exactly.
Foxx screwed everybody that wanted to do a biopic. They're like, oh, thanks, Jamie. Now I got to learn everything.
Phoenix, too. He kind of did that
that's
also.
true. Well, I think, exactly.
So I mean, Idris Elba, definitely not getting as much mention.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston, I think Tom Hiddleston would be great. I'm just a fan of his.
Yeah,
I think he's a great actor.
The interesting thing about Hiddleston is it turns out that Vegas odds makers have stopped taking bets on Hiddleston.
Of course, there's Vegas odds for it.
There's always going to be Vegas odds. That could be an indicator that they know something
some
we
inside
don't.
info.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I mean, I was thinking about some other actors though besides those two.
Who do you got?
Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Obviously, I think he would make a good
Tom
James
Hardy's
Bond. He's got the traditional James Bond kind of look thing. I think he could probably pull that off. Although it's a lot of Tom Hardy lately.
He's suave enough, though.
You don't think so?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's a great actor, so I think.
What would you call him? Brutish? Is that what's?
Maybe he's brutish.
When we posted on Facebook earlier, some people were suggesting maybe Chris Hemsworth. Also, don't think he would work.
I don't see that.
He doesn't. That guy doesn't blend into a crowd. Chris Hemsworth stands out from a crowd.
And God love him. I think he's really great as Thor, but I don't know if he has that much range.
The chops.
I don't think we've seen a lot of range out of him.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where they go, because obviously this is how I have no idea how many James Bond movies there's been. A million of them.
Yeah.
And clearly a franchise that's going to be going forward.
I think it's in the 40s.
In the 40s
Something
now?
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, so far it sounds like Tom Hiddleston. Another reason for Idris Elba, though, probably not getting it also is the Dark Tower series.
That's right. He's got his own franchise rocking.
Yeah.
At least one movie out of that. And that's another movie that people have been up in arms about because of his choosing Idris.
Yeah, because he's black or something. Yeah.
Well, it's because the original character is white.
Yeah, but I mean, even Stephen King talked about that. It doesn't really matter.
I wasn't that tied to the book series anyway, so I'm just excited to see what they do. And I love Idris Elba since Luther. I don't know if you've ever seen Luther.
I haven't. I loved him in The Wire.
It is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his BBC show where he plays this brilliant detective that's very flawed, but always tries to do the right thing and goes about it sort of the wrong way.
Okay.
He's almost too much justice packed inside.
Okay.
For this damn system.
Okay. All right. Fighting the system.
Yeah, and he's always sort of being framed, but he's amazing in that show. Ever since then, I will follow him wherever he goes.
He'll always be Stringer Bell to me. But that's in a good way. All right. Well, there we go, James Bond. So if you have a comment, like we said, go ahead and drop that into the chat. Now, maybe let's go to our highlight of the week.
Okay.
Which I am not 100% that this should be a highlight of the week, but this was your selection this week.
Well, you're not 100%, but the entire critical public at large is 89% sure.
89%
this should be our highlight of the week.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
it's 80. It's sitting at. It was at 91 earlier today. It's now sitting at 89% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And what is it?
And it is a sort of buddy comedy set in the 70s where Russell Crowe plays basically an enforcer.
Okay.
And he has a run-in
with a mob enforcer kind of.
I'm not sure if he's with the mob, but he's the guy you call when you need somebody's legs broke.
Okay, all right.
Situation, and he has a run-in with Ryan Gosling's character, who is playing a sort of ne'er-do-well private detective.
Okay.
And the two of them end up teaming up, and hilarity ensues. And it sounds sort of like campy, but if you've looked at any of the trailers, I think it looks hilarious. Russell Crowe looks like he's back to his full form. I think Gosling's a really good actor, and just the scenery, the settings. So far, I'm really excited about it.
Buddy comedy.
Yeah. The other reason to be excited about this, of course, is because it's Shane Black, who is the writer-director. And if you don't know who Shane Black is, he's the writer of a little movie you might remember called Lethal Weapon.
Oh, okay.
He wrote all three, I think maybe even all four of those.
So he's just kind of going back to that well? Is that what we're getting
he's
here?
done so many cool things, buddy. Your
I'm
negativity
not in that 89% yet.
Yeah,
I'm still in the 11%.
He wrote Iron Man 3, if you like that one.
Okay.
He also wrote The Last Boy Scout, which is a freaking 80s classic.
Last Boy Scout's
absolute
fantastic.
Classic. He is a master. He basically created the modern buddy movie.
Last Boy Scout.
He also wrote Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which I think is super underrated. It resurrected Robert Downey Jr.'s career. It's the reason he got Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a fantastic movie to go see.
All right.
And you're wrong, and everyone knows it.
There's 11% of us that
11% agree with Greg. That's
true. on this train. Well,
no, I just think it's going to be really
shot.
fun.
It's definitely not something I'm going to go see in the theater. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be necessarily.
It'll be a Netflix
mind blowing, but I think it's going to be a really fun movie.
Okay, and so that's the highlight of the week. And when does it come out?
It comes out this weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go see that this weekend.
It's going to be good.
Let's come back to Shane Black here in just a second because I wanted to talk about one other movie that's out this weekend.
Okay.
I'm throwing a loop here.
Oh, man.
I'm going off script.
I had this segue already, and now you're just screwing me again, Nibbler.
Well, it's another movie that's out this weekend.
All right, what do you got?
It's World of Warcraft.
Oh, which... Yeah. Wait, is that out this weekend?
Oh, it's not out this weekend.
No.
I totally screwed that up, didn't I? I messed up our segue. We can't edit that out of live video, can we? I screwed up our segue. I was thinking it was in the theater this week. Well.
Nope.
Hi, everybody.
This is live
TV,
back to
folks. Your segue for the podcast. We'll fix that. So, also,
well,
I've given Ryan more reasons to be grumpy.
The other thing that Shane Black did or is doing is the reboot of The Predator.
Yes,
and that came into the news this week because he was asked about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Is Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back to his new Predator movie?
Now,
not very much is known about this movie yet.
Right.
It's coming out in 2018, so we got a while to wait.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do know is if and when Arnold does come back to it, there will be no CGI. There will be no taking him back in time. He's going to be old man Arnold.
He'll be old Arnold finally.
If he's in it, but we don't even know if he's going to be in it.
How would old man Arnold be able to fight a Predator? That's just...
Oh, dude, he's huge.
I guess he is
he's
still
a huge
big.
dude.
You think you could take him?
He can hold a really big gun.
No, that's.
I've seen him hold a minigun.
You've seen in
on
real
the
life?
TV.
Oh, on TV. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's it. All right. Well,
yeah. So Shane Black is doing that. I think that Predator thing could be interesting. Let's hope it washes the bad taste out of the mouth from the Adrian. What's his name? The movie, the last reboot called Predators.
Yeah, that was not a very good one. Neither was Alien versus Predator. If you ever saw that,
I actually love that movie, but it's
terrible. Really?
Yeah, I mean, in the campy awfulness.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
There's this great scene where the Predator's running down the hallway and they don't have a very expensive costume for him, and it just looks like this dude in a suit with with reggae hair. Basically, it just looks like. Yeah, it does not look like a monster.
Okay. All right. Have I ever told the Predator, quick side note, have I ever told the Predator story from Dark Horse on here?
No.
Okay, I had a buddy, this is just real quick, I had a buddy who worked for Dark Horse years ago, and they have the rights to Predator or creating Predator. I don't even remember how it all worked out, but they had, if you ever go to Dark Horse in Milwaukee, they have a giant Predator replica in the window. And this guy said, and this was a long time ago, that somebody broke into Dark Horse and stole the Predator. And he got a call from the police saying they were chasing this guy down. And the dash cam of the cop car was just the Predator in the back seat bouncing around from the back, staring at the cop the whole way through.
Nice.
And he said he never got the footage of it, but him and the police officers just laughed forever about it, just watching that video over and over.
That's awesome.
Quick side note on that. Anyways.
Anyway, I'm excited to see a good director come at it. I hope Arnold returns, and I hope it's not like some Predator. Of Arnold's other returns, like the last Terminator, which just was an abomination.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I still haven't even seen that one. I don't want to.
Speaking of reboots, it seems to be the modus operandi of the age. They just can't stop it. I mean, I wrote a piece about this, about how the reboots are getting out of control at least a year ago. And that was when we found out that they were going to reboot Roadhouse.
Yeah,
with
Ronda Rousey. Yeah, no.
That's the worst idea
ever. That's a movie that's another one of those. It's a terrible movie.
It should never have been rebooted.
It's probably great because it's terrible.
It probably never should have been made in the first place, but it just works.
Yeah, it's great because it's terrible. It's not something you can be like, look at that magic. We'll capture that again. No.
Not going to happen. It's lightning in a bottle.
Well,
Patrick Swayze ripping that guy's throat out. You can't redo that with Ronda Rousey. That's not going to work.
No, it's not the same. Well, that
was
kind of
what I was. Yeah, I mean, there are so many reboots out, and so we need to talk about some of these new ones that have come out.
Well, one that's getting a lot of play right now, and there's a lot of opinions on this, is the news that there's going to be a new Star Trek series.
That's right,
and it's going to be a brand new television series. The information we know, it's kind of sparse as far as what's come out, but what we know for sure is that, or what's been said anyway, I believe Les Moonves of CBS said this, that it is not going to be tied into the movies. So it's not like the Marvel universe where they're all tied together. It's going to be completely separate. And on top of that, they said, they came out with one little trailer which shows no characters or anything. It's going to be coming out in 2017. I think it's got to be 6 months after the other movies to separate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a mandate for that?
There's a mandate for that, to make sure that it's clear they are not connected. Right. The trailer just says, new adventure, new crews, new villains, new heroes, new worlds. So, new.
I'm getting a theme.
Yeah. And they've got some definitely creative power behind it. They've got Brian Fuller from Hannibal, Nicholas Meyer from Star Trek 2. He was director, I believe, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, executive producers.
Yeah, and Fuller used to write on Star Trek Next Generation, I think, or at least Deep Space Nine.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, and producers.
He's a great writer.
Alex Kurtzman, who was the 2009 Star Trek, and then Eugene Roddenberry, who's Gene Roddenberry's son. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
At least there's some kind of tie in there. There's a Roddenberry name attached.
Sure.
The way they're doing it is very interesting, and they've said that essentially the season, the premiere will air on regular CBS. After that, you will have to stream them on CBS All Access, which is a paid service. You have to get that.
$6 a month, I think.
$6, which I don't know if even Star Trek fans are going to pay $6 a month just for those episodes.
Just for CBS.
For CBS.
Well, CBS is just trying really hard to push their streaming service.
I mean,
so this is an interesting way to go about it, giving you a carrot on network TV and then trying to drag you to
like
their
this
streaming
one?
service. Yeah.
Well,
so they're kind of doing this American Horror Story approach. Is that the idea?
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what's being speculated, is that they're going to do, each season's going to be its own anthology. So there'll be a whole cast of crew and characters for one season. I don't know, say 12 episodes or however many they do. And then the next season, completely different timeline, different characters, different place, different world, all different the second season, and they don't tie together.
And they're trying to do it somewhere in between. I think they also at least speculated that they're trying to do it somewhere in between that awful Star Trek 6 with the whales and Star Trek Next Generation, somewhere in between that timeline.
Yeah, Star Trek The Undiscovered Country. I don't know if that was the one with the whales.
I think it was the one with the whales.
Was that the one? Okay. And then...
It's bad.
Yeah.
It was either that or 5. I don't know. They started getting really bad at the end there.
Yeah, so it's taking place between that, with that original Star Trek crew, and then the Next Generation. So it's in that timeline.
And let's full disclosure, I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
Watched every single episode of the original series. I've seen all the movies, both the Star Trek Next Gen movies and the old cast movies.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, and I like the Star Trek Next Gen movies actually better than I liked the show.
Yeah.
The series, the Next Gen
Star
series.
Trek Next Gen, I watched all the original Star Trek Next Gen. I watched most of it.
They're good. They get really campy, and it kind of like...
They get pretty preachy.
Yeah, and then Deep Space Nine, I just kind of lost.
And Enterprise was terrible. We can just throw that one out.
Yeah, and there was another one too. But anyway, there's been a lot of Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. I will follow this at least for this first episode just to see what happens. And I'll be interested, and I'll definitely give it a shot because I love Star Trek.
I just think with Star Trek, you can't really do it in one season because it's like the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing. Like Star Wars is basically space ninjas. That's what you get. It's space ninjas. Right.
Space samurais. Space samurais. And ninjas, I suppose.
And ninjas.
The dark side's like ninja.
And then they're kind of wizards on top of it.
Yeah.
That works in movies, in chunks. Star Trek, it's like, you're more like, it's, I don't know, space nerds. Like, it's something you have to get to know these characters. You stay with these characters. And that's part of the charm of Star Trek movies is, you get to know who they are. And then you get attached to these certain characters. If you just get one season of them, like, boom, they're gone. Okay, that was it. Well, glad you liked them.
Then there's the other side to it, though, where Star Trek is just this like really well-made cinematic universe that has, a socialistic society that works. Human beings actually got it together,
right?
And that's a great like happy vision of where we could go if we could get it together and become part of like the Space Federation. So let's
Federation of Planets.
Federation. To boldly go. But so that's there's also a lot of foundation here to play around in. So give them a shot. Let's see what they can do with it.
I'll give it a shot.
That's all I'll say.
I don't know if I'll pay $5.99, but I'll.
I know. I think I just don't want CBS All Access on principle. I'll pay for HBO.
Into like Showtime.
I'll pay for HBO, but I don't want to pay for that. Especially something that a lot of it you can get from a freaking digital antenna anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Well, going into some of the other reboots.
So CBS is really going for it.
And I guess Star Trek, it's not necessarily a reboot, but it's a continuation of the Star Trek world. The actual straight-up reboots, MacGyver, number one.
So I freaking loved MacGyver when I was a kid.
Oh, me too.
And friends of my family know Richard Dean Anderson.
What?
Yeah.
You know somebody who knows?
Yeah, in fact, if you go to the episode where MacGyver goes back, it's the flashback episode where you find out why MacGyver hates guns. It's a really important episode. They go back to like the kids. This dude is in that show. Mike McNeely. He's like friends of our family. Like he's an actor and he's really talented actor. But he knows Richard Dean Anderson and he was in a MacGyver. So I got a pretty cool connection to the old MacGyver.
Dude, you need to get MacGyver on here.
I also just loved it when I was a kid. It was a huge show.
Well,
for
MacGyver's cool because he's taking ordinary things and turning them into
Phoenix Foundation.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
I mean, it's cool. Every kid would try that. Like, I would try to make MacGyver things out of gum and
you remember what they always said? Like, they left out one thing.
Yeah,
so you couldn't really do. That was like the rumor is like, oh well, you can make a bomb out of that, but MacGyver left out one thing. I don't think that's true.
Probably
I think
not.
like 90% of the stuff he did is totally impossible.
Yeah, but it's still fun to watch.
Fun. Yeah, it was great. And so now they're redoing it. It's a kid.
Yeah,
and I don't know if
guy.
it's like maybe MacGyver's son. They've sort of.
Oh, is that what they're trying to do?
I don't know. When I saw the trailer, actually, it wasn't even a trailer. It was like a pretty long little clip. It's like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But you can actually find it on our website. We wrote up a bunch of these reboots on one of our posts on Digital Trends. But it almost feels like it's supposed to be MacGyver's kid.
Okay.
Because he said, my dad taught me or something, but maybe just his dad.
I mean, if it brings Richard Dean Anderson back, okay.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Then I'm in.
That'd be great.
Then I'm good with it.
But yeah, it's a modern day version. And here's what I thought about it.
No,
you go.
Really quick.
Okay.
The kid should have a mullet, though, and he does not have a mullet in that.
Well, he kind of has longer hair.
Yeah, I think it should be required to have a mullet. That is the most important part.
I don't know if that is historically accurate in 2016 for MacGyver to have a mullet.
Well,
but that would be awesome.
I'm not in until he has a mullet.
No, I just... what I got from it is it looks a little bit too procedurally, procedure-y. Mm-hmm. It just kind of looks like another cop procedural, except there's a dude that can make stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't have that MacGyver feel. And
no.
They also didn't have the theme song. And
yeah, there's a lot there.
We don't have that sweet theme song. I just don't know.
For you, it's a theme song. For me, it's a mullet.
Yeah.
Clearly, we need to rewrite this. We'll punch it up.
Why didn't we do it? They never asked us, Greg.
Obviously,
they never ask us.
Another reboot that's coming out, and this is kind of a reboot, but it's taking a movie and turning it into a television show, which, generally speaking, doesn't tend to end up working out well for all of the movies that have been turned into TV shows.
Not so good.
Sometimes there are, you get some gems in there.
Yeah, didn't the Rush Hour one already get canceled?
Oh, I didn't even know there was one.
I think it already got canceled.
This one is taking Training Day. Yes, like Training Day 2002 or 3 with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. It is. It's a great movie. Now they're translating it into a television series starring Bill Paxton as the corrupt cop.
Wait,
Denzel
Paxton
Washington
is the corrupt cop?
Yeah. Yeah,
he's no Denzel Washington.
He is not, and I like Bill Paxton, but
couldn't they get Idris Elba for this?
Idris Elba would not sign up for this.
No, he wouldn't.
No, it is so. It looks like it's a fan remake of Training Day. Like I
haven't even seen the trailer,
and it's another one where it's like a 3-4 minute long thing.
The clip.
Yeah,
it's the clip.
And it's
basically an episode condensed into 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it's Bill Paxton, taking some drug dealer's money and what did he say? He's like a wise man once said, "Mo money, mo problems."
Oh no!
And then he walks off. It's just
this is the problem.
So
this is the problem. That is bad writing.
So bad.
Well, Training Day itself almost seemed like a movie that who cares, right? But you have these two great actors and this really great script.
Right,
so
it
was just like this magic thing that worked, and that's again, I think the thing that sometimes these studios, be they movie or television, don't understand is that you can't just take the theme and the name and make something good. Sure, you'll draw people in.
Training Day, let's make
You'll draw people in with the name, but then they're going to be like, "Oh my god, this is awful," and they're just going to be more pissed. Because you promised them something, you called it steak and you served them up a crappy hamburger, and that's. I just don't think that's the right way to go about it.
Well, Training Day definitely looks terrible. I mean, you can see the trailers. I believe actually at
I will say this: I really like Bill
Paxton, and I do too. Yeah. I think he's great, but not in this. It's so poorly written.
There's only so much you can do with the writing.
I wrote down what was one of his other. I wrote down one of his other quotes from it just because they were so bad. It's just a series of him reading quotes, like almost looking into the camera, like taking off his shades.
It's like you punched your last ticket, amigo.
Yeah, it's like my last two trainees both quit. I'm the test nobody passes. Like look at the camera and then walk away. It's so bad.
Oh man. Well, and then there's also the point that trying to take Training Day out of a rated R situation and put it on network
doesn't work.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they let him get away with a lot more on network than they used to, but still.
And this is part of the continued rebooting of everything.
Yeah.
From I don't know, 10 years and older, it's all going to get rebooted at some point.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't realize how long we've been talking about all this. Let's go to one other sequel. Do you want to talk about sequel, or do you want to go to the video game stuff?
Well, we do have to talk about the video game stuff because Angry Birds is coming out this weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that maybe you'd probably enjoy that more because it has like a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's probably more your style.
Now then I'm in the 66%.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, so what we've been noticing, again, another trend is video game movies everywhere.
Right.
So we got World of Warcraft.
Yep. Which is coming out in a couple of months.
Which is just going to be called Warcraft, which is not coming out this week.
No.
We've got Assassin's Creed, which actually looks kind of interesting.
I like Assassin's Creed.
Michael Fassbender in it.
Yeah.
We've got Angry Birds, which premieres this weekend. It's supposed to make about $45 million and not be great. Although I really do like Jason Sudeikis. But the new one that we just heard about, which is just ridiculous, I think, is Tetris.
How do you make a movie about Tetris?
Well, so someone else would say, how do you make a movie about Legos? Turned out pretty great, right?
Yeah, but
I still feel like...
I mean, you're right.
The Tetris one is
What, are they going to make the blocks have personalities?
So this is
I'm
a
an
combined...
L, I don't fit in here, and then...
I mean, what I see this is just... It was a global phenomenon as a game, and they're trying to make a global movie. And, you know, for a global movie, all you have to do is have a lot of shiny stuff because, you know, it doesn't follow a big plot, and it'll be big somewhere, you know.
Tetris, I like Tetris.
Exactly. It's a Chinese media executive, Bruno Wu, and producer Larry Kasanoff, who has some decent movies under his name, True Lies and Mortal Kombat. But they're going to make this Tetris movie for about $80 million. They're also using the effects team from Deadpool. So there's some stuff behind it, but what the hell could this movie possibly be about?
Deadpool have to do
Falling blocks.
Yeah.
How the hell does that turn into a movie?
It's the most basic... I don't know. I don't even know how you would do it.
Here's some more that you got.
Maybe if you solve it in the right way, it unlocks the nuclear codes for something, or I don't know.
That's
the best I can come up with.
It seems awful.
I mean,
it seems kind of like that Adam Sandler movie where they have the giant Pac-Man, and it's just like, look, we made a giant Pac-Man.
Hey, give me money.
Look, we have big rocks
everybody.
falling down. And then, so there's a bunch of other movies that you've written down here, too. Of course, the Resident Evil situation, the Tomb Raider movies, Splinter Cell is making a movie.
Splinter Cell's getting one.
Dead Island.
Yeah, Dead Island.
Metal Gear Solid.
It's just, it goes on and on. And there's a bunch more, too, of video games that I don't even recognize.
So let us know what you think about these video game movies. I feel like Assassin's Creed is going to be a decent one. But
it could
be a decent one.
It could be.
It's Michael Fassbender.
It could be. Yeah. I'll give him credit. All right. Well, let us know your opinions on that. Let's see here. Do you want to go to the one last thing? It is a little bit timely, I suppose, with the Purge.
Oh, yeah.
Election year, which is coming out. And they released a new trailer. Now, if you haven't watched the Purge movies, which I don't think you have.
So I have never seen any Purge movie, but I do understand the trope, and it's not. They didn't come up with it for this movie, first of all. But the idea is,
is one night a year in the
12 hours
for basically 12 hours that all crime is legal in America, including murder. You cannot be prosecuted. You can do whatever you want. There will be no medical services, no police services for 12 hours.
And somehow this horrifying rampage is going to keep society together.
Yeah, it's so that everybody lets out their aggression, and they're supposed to have basically poor people killing other poor people, and then they go after the rich people. And
so it's like
they put
warfare
class in there too, because the idea is rich people can afford to build their sanctuaries so that they can be safe.
The first two movies.
I've seen both, and
Ethan Hawke was in the first one. The first one was like a real movie.
Yeah,
the second one was just a bunch of no names.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like either of them, but I've watched them both.
But you'll watch people killing each other. Yeah, I actually thought
it's actually uncomfortable.
Yeah,
the second one is especially extremely violent because I feel like they were just like, oh well, we made something really violent. Now what do we do? Well, let's just make it more violent.
Well, and I saw the trailer for this one. So the third one is called Purge Election Year, and it's playing off the election, obviously.
Yeah.
The Donald Trump thing a little bit, I guess, but it looks extremely violent.
They are the most. I mean, I can't think of much more and senseless violence because it's just people killing people.
I'm a horror fan, so looking at it, I'm sort of. I'll pack in for an extremely violent movie.
This is your cup of tea, then.
I would watch it.
That's all it is.
But it doesn't look
violence.
good. It does not look good.
Yeah, but that is one of the things. They already put the trailer out for it, and they'll keep making these things.
Yeah.
They'll keep on doing them. So yeah, The Purge.
But I still want to know. I don't know. This reminds me. The whole Purge thing reminds me of that story, The Lottery, which we had to read. Here's the crazy part. So we had to read this when I was in high school. I think early on in high school, and it is a story that you have to read for like recognition of the information and then answer questions about it in a allotted time.
This one,
my school had to do it. Whatever. It was like a standardized test, and this was the story. And you get to the story, and it is about a little town, and it comes in like sort of nice. The birds are chirping, the sun is out. It's a small town, and everyone's like saying hi to each other, and they're all going to this big gathering. And they get to the gathering, and they're all pulling names out of the hat. And eventually you find out that whoever's name is called is going to be stoned to death.
Oh, wow, sweet.
Because this society...
that's how they get rid of their aggression.
Yeah, exactly. It's another one of these crazy ideas, like somehow that would be helpful. Which is kind of where the Hunger Games came from a little bit. So I guess these movies are really about class warfare and the elite sort of making the proletariat destroy themselves.
The Purge series, I feel like did a little bit of that in the first one. The second one, they tried to overhandedly do that.
Yeah,
and then heavy-handedly, and be like, okay, let's throw in extra violence, and now we're going to give you somebody to kind of root for.
Oh, okay.
Versus you didn't have anybody to root for in the first one, really.
Not even Ethan Hawke?
Kind of.
Yeah, the fam.
But I mean, I guess that's who you're rooting for.
Right.
That's who you're supposed to, but even he's not that great a guy in it. So.
Well, and so the twist on the third one we should mention is that it's a senator who's trying to stop the purge.
Right.
And so then the purge comes after the senator.
They want to purge her.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well,
that should have been the tagline.
Yeah.
But now they want to purge her.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Yeah, no,
you can do it.
It was close. Maybe.
You do it way better.
Then they want to purge her.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Well,
that's why you get the money. All right.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to Between the Streams. We love doing the show every week. We're live on YouTube every Thursday at Friday. Friday.
There's another show
on Thursdays.
Nobody wants to. We don't want to talk about that. No.
Well, we'll talk about that one too. But every Friday at 2 p.m.
That one's good too.
You can tune in here on YouTube, and we'll be talking about different things. And email us, podcast@digitaltrends.com. If you have a topic in movies you want to bring up, or if you have a thought on who should be James Bond or new Star Trek or whatever it is, and we'll write you back or comment on this post and let us know. And then if there's anything you think we should talk about next week, especially if you think should be highlighted, or maybe there's a series you watch that you don't think anybody else watches that should get some mention, email us that too, and we'll talk about it on a future episode.
Absolutely. And take us along. Take us along on iTunes.
Are you still grumpy?
No.
Okay,
I'm better.
All right now. That's because you've drank almost an entire beer. That's where it is. All right, thanks everybody. We'll be back next week.